Wow, the ISIS threat spreading this morning. An ISIS plan to kidnap and behead a random people on the streets of Australia has now come front and center. 15 were busted just in the nick of time, and now Muslims are protesting, believe it or not, the raid, saying cops are doing nothing but spreading fear. Also, we're learning about an intel bulletin that warns about Islamic extremists encouraging followers to ambush and murder American military personnel back here in the 50 states. So is the U.S. prepared for this, and what can we learn from the Australian raid? Joining us now, Captain Pete Hegseth, who fought this terror front and center in Iraq and Afghanistan, CEO of Concerned Veterans for America, and a Fox News contributor. So 800 cops fanned out and picked up 15 would-be Muslim terrorists, and they unfolded this plot. Your thoughts?
A legitimate full-scale counterterrorism operation. Australia raised their terror alert to high a couple of weeks ago because they believed there was an imminent threat. This could have been that very threat, and we're talking about dozens of potentially radical Muslims who were seeking to be a part of a plot to potentially find Australians, kidnap them, and behead them. And this is a reminder of the fact that not only were we facing a terrorist army on the ground, an army in Iraq and Syria, but this is a terrorist organization at heart, seeking to terrorize Australians, a part of this this mini coalition right now, and the same threat we're seeing in the United States right now.
Listen, I mean, you're fighting by the you're fighting by the hundreds, seeing them daily for years, for the past 10 years. But what would it do to America, Australia, England if they do what they said they were going to do? Find a random guy on the street, drape him in an Islamic flag, and chop off his head on camera in the full view, possibly in a city street.
Well, I hope it would galvanize and wake the world up. But, you know, we've already seen things like this. It may not have been ISIS, but Major Nadal Hassan at Fort Hood. We saw the British soldier slaughtered on the street in the UK. So things like this have happened. But for it to be ISIS, for it to be a dedicated organization like this, to commit an act like that, that may be what it takes, Brian, to wake up people to the reality of this radical Islamic threat that seeks to strike us at home, just like they're seeking to establish a caliphate there. No one wants it to happen, but it may come to that for people to realize the depth of this threat.
What does it feel like for you and the other veterans that you work with and see and fought with to know that now you're going to be targeted at home according to this latest Islamic threat? Your thoughts?
Well, it redoubles my commitment to doing whatever I can to ensuring that our leaders and our military are given everything they need to destroy this enemy. And you know what? The president likes to say, let me be clear. Let me be clear. The dumbest thing we can do is tell our enemies what we're not going to do, that we won't send ground troops, whether we should or should not. You can't tell them that. You can't say that. So when we hear a commander-in-chief saying those types of things, barely cobbling and slowly cobbling together a coalition, yet we see these threats, it makes those who have seen threats for a long time wonder whether we're really taking it serious, wonder whether we really understand the nature of it.
Absolutely. And Secretary of State, Secretary of Defense Gates, General Odierno, General Mattis have all said something similar, but the president doesn't seem to want to change his speeches. Pete Hegseth, thanks so much.